What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm so freaking pumped for today's video. I've been wanting to do it for the longest time and I'm finally sitting down and filming it today. So today's video is basically going to be an honest sex Q&A. We're literally just gonna be like talking about questions you guys have and advice and different sex topics and things that you guys are curious about. I want this video to come from a place of absolutely no judgment and just complete honesty. You guys should be able to come to a place, everyone should have a safe place to talk openly about sex. And even if it's just coming to a YouTube channel or reading a blog or listening to a podcast or whatever it is, we should all have an outlet for learning and feeling completely open to learn about sex. Kind of what inspired this video is I really enjoy watching Arden Rose's channel, and she has made a few videos in the past about sex and just completely open and honest sex Q&As. So Arden is my inspiration for this video. I've seen a few of hers. I'll link her most recent one down below. If you're watching this, Arden, shout out to you because I feel like you do such a great job at talking about these topics in just like a fun and relatable way. I have a lot to talk about today. You guys sent in some incredible questions and you guys were not shy about what you sent in. So I am so freaking excited for this video. Grab a little snack because it's honestly probably going to be a long one. Maybe grab a glass of wine or a beer or a glass of water. Let's stay hydrated. I'm staying hydrated today, you guys. And let's dig into our first topic, our first round of questions. I have a few that have to do with your first time and losing your virginity because I did get a lot of questions about that specific topic. The first one is, does losing your virginity hurt? So I've heard both things from different people, so I think it's just based off of your personal experience. For me, it was a little bit painful. It wasn't anything completely horrible, but my first time was a little bit painful. But most of the time, it's going to be a new feeling. And I have actually heard from some women that it did not hurt at all their first time. So I'm not gonna say that it's absolutely going to hurt your first time. I would say be prepared for a little bit of uncomfortableness, but just completely take it at your own pace. And we'll talk about this later with feeling comfortable during sex and feeling comfortable with your partner. I wouldn't be nervous though for that though. Like, don't let that scare you because it's just kind of a normal thing that might happen, especially if you're not like warmed up at all. It's just gonna be a new sensation in your body and it might be uncomfortable at first. Okay, this is kind of segueing into the next question I got, which is, hey, I'm planning to have my first time. Any advice on how to deal with pain / being uncomfortable? The biggest thing for your first time is picking someone that you know you're going to be able to communicate with. Hey, I like that. Hey, I don't like that. Hey, can you not do that because that is a little bit uncomfortable for me? Or hey, I really like that. Keep doing that. You know, whatever it is. One thing you guys will probably hear me say in this video is that communication during sex is what makes it so much better and is what can really take your sex life to the next level. Is just clear, kind communication. We don't want to hurt anyone's feelings because especially in the bedroom, things can be really sensitive. But I would say the biggest thing about feeling not uncomfortable and not painful is choosing someone that is going to respect your body and respect that it is your first time. I really would recommend telling this person that it's your first time and not going into this blind, even if you're older, even if you're however old you are, in your late 20s, your early 20s, or your teens, and it's your first time. I think you should be able to communicate that to your partner because it's going to be very important for them to know that you've never had this experience before and that they need to be gentle with you. And honestly, just check in with yourself in the moment of your first time. If it literally feels horrible and you don't want to continue, stop having sex. There's so many other things you can do that aren't full penetration. Like, you can still have a great time and you don't have to have that full penetration if the first time you're not into it. So you can lead up to that. All right, and the last question we're gonna answer on this topic, I got a various amount of questions very similar to this. So the question is, I'm 22 and a virgin and I never know how to properly bring it up in relationships. Any advice? A lot of questions you guys actually asked me was, when did I lose my virginity? How old was I? So really quickly, I'll answer that because I have talked about it in a video before, so I don't want to make it a whole part of this video. I told the story in a video I'll link down below. It was like a Q&A. What was the video even called? Opening up about everything. I don't remember. It was back last year. I'll link the video that I talked about losing my virginity story down below. But I was 18. I was with a partner that we had expressed that we loved each other. I feel like at the time I really was ready, and I had a decent first time. It was not anything that I look back on and I'm like, oh, that was horrible, but it's kind of just something that I look back on, I'm like, that's when it happened, and it was a little bit uncomfortable like I stated earlier, but it was still like a pretty good first time, I would say. I have so many girlfriends and people that I know and people that are very outspoken about being a virgin that are, you know, like in their early or mid 20s, and it's actually, I feel like it's almost more common now than you might think to be like a later in life virgin. Even for guys too, it's not just with girls. A lot of people are waiting. But to actually answer this question of how to properly bring it up in relationships and with partners, I would say just kind of try to do it in a super casual way. Just like when you feel, if you feel like things might progress to this point with a partner that you might get like sexual with them and things might start going down, I would say just bring it up in a super casual way, like, hey, just so you know, like, it's not that big of a deal, but I am a virgin, I haven't had sex before, but I'm totally like cool with like what is happening between us. If you are, obviously, I would say just like bring it up in a light way. Don't make it a huge thing like, hey, I need to tell you something, I'm a virgin. Most people don't care. Like, honestly, if a guy's already like going to be intimate with you, he probably doesn't really care. But I would say just bring it up in a light way and bring it up before like that he's about to, like, before you guys are fully freaking naked. I would say bring it up a little bit earlier on when you feel like things might get to that point or you guys have talked about it a little bit. And honestly, if this person is about you and they are a good person for you, they will be so cool with it, I feel like. And if they start acting weird about it and being like, oh, you know, I'm not into virgins, I'm like, that feels like too much pressure for me, like whatever, then they're probably not a great partner to pick. So keep that in mind. People have their different opinions about virginity and virgins. My opinion is just like, it doesn't matter, like whatever age you are, it doesn't matter. You should lose your virginity when it is right for you and when you are feeling good about it. That is a part I wanted to talk about in the beginning of this video, but we're already 12 minutes in and I haven't talked about anything else, and I want to get into like the nitty-gritty and the dirty details and everything. So let's move on to kind of a topic of feeling comfortable and confident in the bedroom. I have a few questions that were related to that. This question I thought was so good, and I have an opinion. I have a lot to say about it. So it is, I don't shave down there at all, but it's my biggest insecurity, sad face. Stops me from letting people see me. Okay guys, I have heard this so much, and this is such a relatable woman thing. Even guys too probably feel insecure, like, should I shave down there? Should I keep it all hairy? What should I do? It's just seriously what makes you feel the most comfortable. I am not going to tell anyone what to do with their body hair. Before I was in a serious relationship, almost any time I would have sex or think that I was gonna maybe have sex, I would, 95% of the time, I would shave my entire down there area. And that is kind of because a little bit of pressure of like, I don't know if they're gonna like me having hair down there, but also it did make me feel more confident when, if someone's gonna be up close down there. Personally, like shaving for me, if I'm like feeling really soft and smooth down there, especially with a new partner, it's different when you've been with someone for a really long time and they know your body and they know you're not gonna be perfect all the time. But with a new partner, I would pretty much always shave, and there was times that I got caught up and I hadn't shaved because I'm not just gonna freaking keep my kitty perfectly shaved every day of my life, especially if I'm not getting any D. So it literally is personal preference. Some girls get waxes regularly and they love to be smooth and waxed all the time down there. Other women just have a full bush. I would say I'm a little bit in between those two stages. I will shave mine and I'll like keep it trim, like I'll shave the sides and I'll keep it like nice, but also like now that I'm in a committed relationship for over 2 years, I do not shave it fully for sex. Like, I just let myself be natural and I just keep up with trimming, but it's literally just completely personal preference. So to answer what you said, that it's your biggest insecurity, I would say do whatever makes you feel secure, whether that is like shaving it or getting a wax or even just letting it be its natural self, because we are natural women. Guys have hair down there, girls have hair down there, everyone has hair down there, and honestly, if your partner's gonna say something rude to you about having hair, that is just like a red flag. I would honestly say, what the hell? Like, if you aren't gonna fucking shave all your shit and your hairy balls, then why should I be a bald freaking thing down there? Basically, do whatever you want, whatever makes you feel confident, whatever makes you feel comfortable. Okay, next question. How do you let your partner know they're not pleasuring you very well without hurting feelings? Okay, I think this is such a good question. This is probably like my favorite question that I've gotten so far in this video because I can just relate to it so much, especially if it's so normal. Most people, even guys that are acting all macho, most people do feel vulnerable in bed, especially with like a newer partner, and I think most people do want to please you and want to perform well. Also, it's like, how do you talk to your partner without hurting their feelings that they might not be doing something that's right, or they might not be doing what you like? What has helped me so much personally is learning to be super open about sex, especially with my partner. Even if it's like a new partner, I think it can be pretty like hot to tell your partner, like in a kind way, of course, hey, it feels so good when you do this, or like, I really like when somebody does this to me. Whatever it is, I would say be as freaking open as you can, literally like telling someone to do, but not in like a really bossy way. I've found, I mean, some men might like being totally bossed around, but I've found for me and my relationship and my partner and being with a sensitive person, I don't want to be super bossy and just be like, hey, I don't like that, that doesn't feel good, can you do this? It's more like coming from a place of love and wanting to teach them what you do like. So I think you really can approach it being like, whatever it is, if you want your partner to go down on you, if you want your partner to touch you in a specific way, just like telling them in almost like a sexy way. Or if they're doing something that doesn't feel good, literally tell them, because there's no point. They probably think that they're doing something that you're into, and if you're giving them like fake, oh, I really like this, and like fake moans and fake words of affirmation, but you don't really like it, that's not helping anyone, because then they're gonna keep doing that in the future and thinking that you like it, and you're just gonna be sitting there like, how do I fuck? So just in the beginning, if your partner is doing something that you don't like, just tell them, hey, if you did a little bit more of this or a little less of that, it would be perfect. And then give them, if they do something that feels really good to you, or if they listen to what you're saying and they apply it, give them a lot of, what's the word, like congratulations, or make them known that they're doing a great job. Because like I said, it can be so vulnerable to be a new sex partner with someone, or even just in a relationship. Like, it can feel so vulnerable in the bedroom. So just being as open as you can, but in a very kind way to the other person, I think is genuinely how I would approach it. Okay, next question is, talk about lube. I felt weird using it at first, but it changed the game. Guys, I fucking love lube. Oh my god, I don't use it necessarily every single time. A lot of times, I would say I probably end up using it or incorporating it into my sex like 80 or 85% of the time, because it just makes it better. I'll link down below to two of my favorite lubes. One of them is called Wet Platinum. You can get it on Amazon and it is incredible. It's a little bit expensive, but I have the smallest bottle and it's lasted me like over a year. So it lasts so long. And then I know they have like a huge one too. So you don't have to go ham with lube. Like, a little will go a long way. I would say it's just really fun. It doesn't have to be weird at all. I don't know where like a stigma ever came about lube, because literally like everyone uses it, from young people to old people. It's so normal to me. It's like just as normal as condoms, if not more normal. I would say lube is great. I'll link that one down below for you guys. And I also have this one that's a little bit more natural that I've just started using recently from the brand Necessaire. It's called the Sex Gel, so I'll link that one down below too. Lube is amazing. If you haven't tried it, definitely try it with a partner, or try it by yourself, you know, for masturbating, for using your sex toys. Like, it can, I actually don't really use it when I'm just doing myself. I've personally found it just gets kind of like messy for me, and I would rather not, but it's totally personal preference. But I do really like using it with a partner. It's just more fun when everything's more wet and wild down there. I mean, is this being too honest? That's just the truth. That's how I feel. Don't be afraid of lube. Get yourself some, or even coconut oil. Coconut oil is great too. If you have that in your house, try her for lube. She's great as well. All right, guys, this next question I really want to get into, and I want to give kudos to the girl or person that asked me this because I love how open it is. They said, I've never been able to finish before. Any tips? Okay, so what I want to say about this is I can personally relate to this topic because for literally until a couple months ago, I was only able to finish by myself and never with a partner ever in my life. I still felt like I had a great sex life with my partner and my previous partners, even though I hadn't been able to finish with a partner at all. And this is so fucking common, you guys, I'm not even kidding. And it's also so fucking common to just not have an orgasm and not be able to orgasm yet. And this is like, for women, this is insanely common. Like, I can't even tell you guys, it's a very small percentage of women that are actually, that say they are able to orgasm during penetrative sex, just penetration alone. It's so small. It's like less than a third of women. It is so personal to everyone, and it's also, I feel like, so personal to your body. I'm gonna recommend you guys a podcast that I fucking love, and it is literally about this girl, Remy, that had never had an orgasm before. She started a podcast about it. It's called How Come. It is literally so good. It's so open. I'll link it down below. It's about her journey from never having an orgasm to being able to orgasm to talking about what worked for her and then like moving forward because she finally found out how to do it. So this podcast talks about everything, so I would recommend you going to check that out. But anyway, any tips for never being able to finish? I would say just switch it up. You're gonna have to switch it up. People always say like, you gotta get out of your head, but I don't know if you're talking about by yourself or with a partner. But I would say in my experience, it's a lot easier to figure it out by doing things to yourself and by experimenting with what feels good for you, whether that's different types of porn or whether that's different types of touching or sex toys or vibrators. I would say get yourself like a little powerful vibrator. It doesn't have to be expensive. You can get one for like a finger vibrator off of Adam and Eve or Amazon for like $20, and that can be super powerful and super amazing. So I would say experiment with yourself and what you like, and then you can take that into being with a partner in the future and figure it out with a partner in the future. I could go into this topic so much, but it's just one that hits home for me and is so relatable to me because I literally would cry. I felt like I would have good sex, but I would cry and I would be so saddened by myself that I like couldn't do this thing with a partner that I was so in love with, that was trying so hard for me, and we tried like so many fucking different things. And then I just realized, what the hell, like it's not even that big of a deal. Like if I can do it by myself, I'm good. And then I don't know what it was that changed for me. Literally until age 24, I could not finish with another person there. So I don't even know what the hell changed. I've heard that once you get older and you just get more comfortable and you start like giving less fucks, that it's so much easier to like let yourself go. Just figuring out what you like and trying different things with yourself and different little toys is probably going to be the best thing. Whatever turns you on, just like explore that and go with that, and like don't give up. All right, next question. These are a few about like keeping sex exciting in relationships or with a consistent partner. How to keep sex exciting when you feel like you've been doing the same things repetitively. So I definitely get this. I would say there are so many ways to switch it up and keep it exciting. Some of my favorite ways to keep it exciting are to just like have sex at a different time than you normally do, or have the person that usually initiates switch it up. Or also, obviously, like role playing can be so much fun. If you're into that, you can also do really like light baby role plays or hardcore crazy role plays. Like it just depends on whatever you're into and whatever you like. That can be fun to switch it up. Also, just like literally going in a different room than normal. Like if you're always in the bedroom, switching it up and maybe going in like the kitchen. Or if you're always like laying down and doing the same positions, maybe try standing up and doing different positions. Like everyone always says try different positions, so I don't feel like that one's that good. But I would say maybe incorporate some things that you don't usually do. Like if you don't usually do dirty talk, or your partner doesn't usually do dirty talk and one of you is into that, like maybe incorporate that a little bit. There's so many things that are fun to try. And honestly, keep in mind that it is so normal sometimes to get like bored by sex and repetitive, but also like it doesn't have to be like that, and it shouldn't. And there are things that you can do to make it really fun, and I hope that gave you a few. Whatever turns you on the most, just like think about those things and how you can incorporate those into your sex if you do feel like it's getting repetitive. All right, next question. This one I feel like is so relatable, and I saw this one a ton. This says, what do you do if your partner wants to have sex way more than you do? All right, I just want to say this is like probably going to happen in a relationship, because typically you're not going to have the exact same libido, which means like sex drive, as your partner. Typically, I don't think most people have the exact same sex drive. The partner is typically gonna have a lower libido. Now in my relationship, without getting too much into the details, I have struggled with this because my partner is just like not as sexual as I. They don't need sex as much, but they know that I personally need it more than them. And so we've kind of like accepted that in our relationship and figured out a way to make it work, with him being the one initiating, because usually in the beginning it was me that was always initiating. And I would say things that can help are, like I said, having the person that has a lower libido be the one that initiates when they are turned on, because then typically the person with the higher sex drive is gonna be like, yay, they're initiating it with me, like let's do it, and they're gonna be excited that that person is like into it more. So there's no like guidelines for how often you have to have sex. There's no like, it doesn't matter like how often you have sex, but obviously I would just say, like, if your partner wants to have sex all the fucking time and you're just not into it that much, you just gotta like let them know, hey, I love you so much, I can't do it this much, like it puts pressure on me or whatever it is. And just trying to like get to a point of compromise, I would say, and like really open communication about it. And just kind of also accepting that like someone's gonna probably be like wanting it more and the other person's gonna be wanting it less, and you're gonna have to like come to a place of, this is how we're gonna be, and you will figure it out, you will work it out. And just coming from a place of loving kindness with this, again, because you don't want to hurt feelings. This question is opinions about foreplay, question mark. Girl, I'm so glad someone asked this, because foreplay is literally everything. Foreplay is like what is gonna make sex good, at least typically for a female. Like, we take so much longer typically to get like fully turned on and fully ready to have sex. And obviously, like a dude, we're not just gonna like instantly be hard and ready to go. I think, once again, having a conversation, because some guys don't understand this, or maybe some girls don't understand this either. Some partners do not understand like the need for a lot of foreplay, because maybe they just don't get it and they just want to get the deed done. I don't know. Obviously foreplay can take longer, and it does take longer, and it's going to make the experience longer, but it's going to make the experience better. And those are almost the more like fun parts sometimes, and the more intimate parts is like foreplay before actual sex. I don't know. I just feel like it is very important, and you should just express to your partner, especially if this is like, you know, a guy that we're talking about and he doesn't really get it, and us as girls are like, what the fuck, I need foreplay, like he doesn't get it. We just have to express to them, hey, like I love you so much, and I know that sometimes you just want to like do it, and I get that, but like it makes me feel so good when you give me the time for some foreplay, even if it's like 5 or 10 minutes. It makes me feel so good when you do this, and when I'm like a little bit warmed up, I feel like I can enjoy you so much more. So saying something, again, just like out of kindness and being super open with what you need. Okay, I actually talked about this a little bit, but this person says, have you ever cried or had a depressive episode after having sex? I would say I've definitely cried several times after sex. Mostly, as I mentioned before, it's not because it wasn't good sex. I felt like I still had good sex, but I would get so, not like resentful of my partner being able to finish and me not being able to finish. That was a little bit of it, like a little bit of resent, like what the fuck am I doing wrong? But also I would just get so in my own head, like, and sad at myself that like I couldn't do something that just seemed so normal and so simple. And I really, it's been a fucking journey, you guys, that I've never obviously really talked about because it's so personal, but maybe I will open up about it in a future video or a future something that I talk about this. But once again, like listening to the podcast How Come helped me so much to realize how freaking normal this is. But yeah, I've definitely cried after sex, and it's so, like I said, it wasn't because it was bad sex or because I didn't feel like my partner was giving me what I needed. It was just like my own shit and getting caught up in my own head. So I also think it's really normal, especially when we're younger and we're figuring out our bodies and like experimenting with different partners and different things that we like. Sex can be really confusing. So it's all just like a learning experience, and I would say just stay confident that you are like on the right path and just like experimenting more and learning more about your body and your partner's body, and open communication is just gonna like lead you to the right place that you want to be eventually. This person says, any tips on not being self-conscious of the smell of your vagine? LOL. Okay, I can relate to this because I don't really notice that much, because you know what, as a freaking woman, we are going to have these things, and you know what, fuck using like body wash up there that is literally not good. Fuck using anything up there besides just like very natural, like water. You don't need to freaking put products up there, okay? You don't need to like spray it with Summer's Eve and all that crap. Like I used to do that shit back in the day, and then I realized, what the fuck am I doing? Like I'm not gonna, this isn't realistic for me to do this every single time before I think I might have sex. Like what the hell? And also, is it like, it's probably not good to be spraying shit up there. So I would say just like what you can do is obviously just like cleansing it in the shower, and maybe before you're gonna have sex, if that's something that you're in your head about, maybe just taking like a nice wet tissue or a little cloth and just giving it like a nice wipe down, just making sure things are fresh. And maybe put a little perfume on yourself, but not on like down there, don't do that, but like making yourself smell good in other places. So many women literally like don't even let themselves gone down on. So many women are like afraid to have their partner go down on them because of the smell or what it looks like, or literally whatever, the taste, I don't fucking know. And honestly, I totally kind of get that getting in your head, especially because I almost feel like it's more of a thing that we are thinking about so much, and our partner isn't. Even if your partner's gonna give you that and they want to give you that, oh my gosh, like they trust that they want to do that for you, they want to pleasure you, they want to be down there, or whatever it is. Just like be confident and know that like as a woman, we're all just like, it is normal for it to have a smell. It is so fucking normal. It's probably a bigger deal in your head than it is to your partner, unless they comment on it. Then you can be like, oh, okay, if they commented on it, maybe it's something that I need to change. But I don't know, sometimes guys are weird too. Some guys just don't like going down, and also some girls don't like going down on their partner. And you know what, that's something that we can accept about other people. Everyone's not going to be into what you're into, and no one has to do something that they don't like doing. So I think accepting what your partner doesn't like is very important, and accepting what they do like and they are good at, and focusing more on those things as well as yourself. Please don't be doing something that you're not into and that you don't like. Oh, that kind of relates to this next question. Tips for asking guys to pleasure you too, LOL, like oral, etc. It's hard to be forward sometimes. I totally get that. But once again, I think if you want something, you have to ask for it, because especially in the bedroom, guys and people are not mind readers. They have no idea what you want, and they're just going to give you what they've done in the past and what they think is good, but they can't know what you're feeling, if it's good or bad. So you have to be open. How else are they going to know if you're liking something or disliking something, unless you're open about it and you communicate in a kind way? So I would say, just if you want to get this guy or someone to pleasure you and you want to say it in a nice way, I would like incorporate it into the sex. I would be like, hey, I just like, it feels so good for me when you do this, or like I would appreciate it so much, or like it would turn me on so much if you did this, or if you just tried this a little bit for me, like it would mean so much to me, it would be so hot. Just talking about it openly, because if you don't say it, they're never going to know. So once you get past that point of saying it and expressing what you want, then a whole new door opens for like, oh, this is what my partner likes, this is what my partner wants. I'm so glad they told me, even because now I'm not going to be doing it wrong anymore. Now I can give them this, and we can like experiment with this. So that's what I would say. All right, and last question in this video to sum it up. I really liked this question. What sexual thing have you done that has been the most surprisingly enjoyable? I would say in general, reversing the roles that I thought were there. With sex, previously, I thought I took on the role of being like more dominant and always being the one initiating and being like the one that was more in control. And I had no freaking idea that my partner didn't like that and that they wanted to be the one that was more dominant, more in control. I couldn't really see that, and I guess we had never talked about it for a while. And then once we simply talked about it, I realized that my partner didn't want me to be the one that was more dominant, and they kind of preferred if we at least tried to switch it up and they were the one that was initiating. I realized that was such a turn on for them, and that was something that I actually, once we experimented with it, I actually really enjoyed a lot. And to summarize this video, like, sex should be fun. It shouldn't be this thing that's like so serious and like taboo and not talked about. I feel like finally in society we are opening up about these topics so much more. If you guys made it till the end of this video, I also really like the show Slut Ever on Viceland. I've been watching it recently and it's so good. I really like the girl that does it. She just explores like so much having to do with sex and like more taboo sex topics every episode. So I'll link the webpage for that show down below too. If you guys made it until the end, give this video a big thumbs up to let me know, and leave me a comment down below that you watched the whole thing and what your favorite part of this video was. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I had so much fun doing this video. Seriously, I feel like we need to do a follow-up. We need like a part 2, a part 3, because there's so many more questions and I was only able to answer probably like 10 of you guys' questions, but I hope that I did discuss some good topics for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much and I appreciate you, and I will see you very soon in my next video on my channel. Peace.